You've made your intention. You're proceeding now to the haram. The talbiyah, لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. The talbiyah is now sunnah all the way until you reach the haram. All the way until you get to the haram. Alright? Now, it is the best form of dhikr in this state. And subhanAllah, like what ends up happening is that when people first start in Medina, they get to the miqat in Medina, then everyone's saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik for like 3-5 minutes, and then within 3 to 5 minutes, then everybody's snoring in their different languages too, right? So you just hear here, and people are talking and having conversations, and every once in a while, everybody say labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and everyone gets excited once again. Try to keep yourself engaged with the talbiyah, inshaAllah ta'ala, as much as you can. It is the best form of dhikr in this state. For men, it's sunnah to do it loudly to encourage everybody around you to join in the talbiyah as well. For women, it's encouraged to do it in a lower voice. It's not sunnah to do it with a leader, as a group. So what that means is that you'll see a lot of people going throughout Umrah and Hajj where one person is going labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and everybody says labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and he goes labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, and they all say that. That's an innovation. That's not sunnah. So don't join in on that. Don't be a part of that. Just do it yourself, inshaAllah ta'ala, throughout the process. Now you get to Tawaf al-Qudum, the first Tawaf, the Tawaf of entrance into the city. As you reach to the Haram for the first time, wudu is required for Tawaf according to the strongest opinion. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that Tawaf is like Salah. Okay, it's a form of prayer. So wudu is required for your Tawaf. Now, is it okay when I've done my, from the miqat, I've put on my ihram, to not go do Tawaf right away, to not go actually do my Umrah right away? Is it okay for me to take some time to rest in the hotel, if I have a hotel, whatever it may be, to take a few hours and then go do it? Yes, it is. There is nothing that says that you have to go from the miqat straight to do Umrah. However, you'll simply have to observe your ihram throughout that process while you're waiting. All right, so you can go to your hotel, you can go to Aziziyah, wherever it may be. You can take your time to actually go out and do the Tawaf at a time that's good for you. But when you do, inshaAllah ta'ala, you should have your wudu. For the brothers, they will expose their right shoulder. This is only for this Tawaf al-Qudum, the opening Tawaf, where the brothers will expose their right shoulder. And this will end as soon as you finish Tawaf. Not after 3 circuits, but after you finish your Tawaf, you will actually cover your right shoulder. Okay, so you expose your right shoulder, you enter the Haram through any one of the gates, and you look for the green light to start. Where is the green light? The green light is where, basically, it marks where the black stone is, because your Tawaf is going to start from where the black stone is. So you'll actually see in the different stories of the Haram in different locations, you'll see that the green light is marking the beginning of the black stone. Now enter through any gate, inshaAllah ta'ala. You enter into the masjid with your right foot, and here you have the dua. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Allahumma ighfir li dhunubi waftah li abwab rahmatik. A'udhu billahi al-azim wa biwajhi al-kareem wa bi sultanihi al-qadeem min ash-shaytan al-rajim. So you would enter with this dua, inshaAllah ta'ala. You would start right away with your Tawaf. Now, do you have to pray the 2 rak'ahs of entering into the masjid? No, because your Tawaf replaces those 2 rak'ahs. Outside of Umrah or Hajj or one of those mandatory, one of those Tawafs, if a person goes to the Haram, they have the choice. They could either do Tawaf or they could pray 2 rak'ahs. Okay, like any masjid. All right? But here in this situation, you're replacing the 2 rak'ahs of entering into the masjid. You will go straight to your Tawaf. You align yourself with the black stone. Okay, that's the beginning of the Tawaf. So with that green light, You would signal toward it with your hand. You would simply say Allahu Akbar. If you cannot kiss it or touch it, which is not something that's really easy to do in the time of Hajj, and it's not good for a person to fight over it. There's nothing super special about doing that, right? There's nothing sunnah about fighting over it. And a lot of people go way overboard because of it. And some people, it's like having bragging rights. Like, I got to kiss the black stone. Like, I just fought and elbowed people and moved, fought my way through so I could kiss the black stone. It's not something to do in Hajj. Seriously. If you find the opportunity, you go at a good time to do Umrah and Hajj, and you don't have to fight your way through or elbow and things of that sort, then that's the sunnah. But the Prophet ﷺ also taught to just signal towards it simply and to say Allahu Akbar and to proceed with the Tawaf. And the Kaaba is on your left side. Don't do Tawaf the opposite direction. All right, make sure that you're going counterclockwise. The Kaaba is on your left side. Now, for the men, the sunnah is to do the first 3 circuits of Tawaf faster. It's impractical to try to run. Don't harm people, but there is an added pace in the first 3 circuits of the Tawaf. You will keep your shoulder exposed throughout all 7. And the 7 circuits should not be interrupted. That doesn't mean you can't take a break. Like you can't sit on the side if it's getting too exhausting. But that does mean, that does mean that you shouldn't leave and come back. You can't leave and come back or interrupt your Tawaf. So you could take a break while you're doing Tawaf, but you can't interrupt your Tawaf by actually leaving your Tawaf. If a person interrupts the 7 circuits of Tawaf, what do? Let's say that you have to leave. When you come back, do you pick up from where you left off or do you start over? Because Tawaf is like Salah, then it's like starting over. So you would start over. Okay? Now, if there's a hardship involved, or if a person needs to use the restroom frequently, or there's urinary incontinence, whatever it may be, if there's hardship involved, it's difficult for you to maintain wudu, for example, throughout all 7, then you pick up where you left off, inshallah ta'ala, and there's no problem. But ideally, what you want to do is that if you don't have that need, then you should start off from where you left off. Believe it or not, number 12 here, if you doubt how many circuits you've completed, all right, a lot of times you think it's simple, it's 7 circuits, but you might get confused and you will second guess yourself and you'll start to doubt. And it is healthy to have someone with you or to count with somebody as you're going through. But if you have a doubt, what do? فَلْيَبْنِي عَلَى الْيَقِينِ. Just like the Prophet ﷺ said about prayer, then build on that which you're certain about. So if you don't know if it's the 4th one or the 5th one, you will assume that it's what? The 4th one. All right? And it's good to have, one person with you or 2 people with you, and you're counting together. If you cannot, the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is to touch al-rukn al-yamani, the Yemeni corner, which is the corner right before the black stone. If you can't touch it, then you don't signal towards it. A lot of people will be signaling towards it. Why did the Prophet ﷺ used to touch al-rukn al-yamani, the Yemeni corner, and then he would touch the black stone? The Prophet ﷺ actually, used to touch it because it's one of the original foundations of the Kaaba. The Kaaba was built by Ibrahim a.s. in a rectangular shape. Okay? It was actually rectangular. So there was the Yemeni corner, there was the black stone, and where you see Hijr Ismail, you see that semicircle, those corners of that actually used to be part of the Kaaba. So the Prophet ﷺ would touch a Rukn al-Yamani as he passed by it because it was one of the original foundations. He wouldn't kiss it, he wouldn't do anything special with it, he would simply touch it as he was walking around. If you're there, touch it. Otherwise, you don't have to sit there and give it the peace sign and start to signal towards it or anything of that sort. The sunnah dua, generally speaking in Tawaf, it's open for you. Make dua in any way that you can. Any du'as that you can. And it's good to plan them out. If you want to have 1 circuit for your family or 2 circuits for your family, whatever it is, 1 circuit for this, 1 circuit for that, to have it planned out, inshallah ta'ala, because it's very hectic and it's not the dua that you do in Tawaf, the nature of the dua that you do in Tawaf, it's not like this dua where you're, nice and calm and you have this time to it's loud, it's crazy, it's hectic. So it's good to have in your mind what you're going to do with each circuit, inshallah ta'ala, and to dedicate each circuit. But the Sunnah dua between Al-Rukn al-Yamani, between the Yemeni corner and between the black stone, is رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. This is the dua that the Prophet ﷺ would repeat between Al-Rukn al-Yamani and the black stone. Other than that, there is no prescribed dua for tawaf. All the du'as are open. Make dua as an individual. You don't have to join in with a group. You don't have to hold a book. Continue to make dua for yourself. When you complete your 7th circuit, you will go all the way to Maqam Ibrahim. It's just slightly past the black stone. Again, you'll align yourself with it. So you don't actually have to go to Maqam Ibrahim, but you'll keep walking until you pass it, which is just slightly beyond the black stone. Then you will place it between yourself and the Kaaba, and you would cover your shoulder and you would recite وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلًّى. The ayah in the Quran, and take the station of Ibrahim alayhi salam as a place of prayer. You pray 2 rak'ahs, reciting silently. The sunnah is to recite Surah Al-Kafirun in the first rak'ah, Surah Al-Ikhlas in the second rak'ah, just like the sunnah Fajr. Okay? And then, and then you would proceed to the rest of it. Okay? So you'd proceed to drink your Zamzam, and you'd proceed to the sa'i. Now again, the idea here is you go and you complete your 7. On the 7th circuit, you move beyond Maqam Ibrahim. There's no way to perfectly align yourself. And if it's crowded, you can pray anywhere in the masjid after you pass Maqam Ibrahim. Okay, so there's no way to perfectly align yourself, but the point is you say, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلًّى. You would recite that, you would pray your 2 rak'ahs, and then inshallah ta'ala you go into your sa'i. So for now we're actually going to go ahead and break for Salatul Isha.